In the shell model, software refers to the non-physical aspects of ergonomics. Things like airport symbology, computer programs, standard operating procedures, and checklists. Probably the most important part of software is the checklist. In order to reduce human error, aircraft designers prepare very detailed manuals and checklists, setting down procedures for pre-flight, take-off, and every stage of the flight, as well as emergencies. The importance attached by the aviation authorities to checklists can be seen from the fact that the Civil Aviation Authority in the UK has prepared guidance on the design, presentation and use of emergency and abnormal checklists. The guidance in CAP 676 is remarkably detailed. There are 10 pages of best practice in designing checklists, and a further 34 pages on topics such as how to use a checklist, common errors, and a list of 33 compulsory emergency checklists, such as engine fires. The main requirements for checklists are that they be unambiguous, easy to read, kept to a manageable size, fully indexed, cross-referenced and colour-coded, divided into topic sections, and written in suitable font sizes for emphasis. The principal error in the use of checklists is lack of concentration and just going through the motions of checking. Usually, one crew member will read through a list and the other will verify that the action has been taken. But it is very easy to say checked without actually checking. Other errors include not returning to the correct place on a checklist after an interruption. Such an error committed by the pilot is known as an active error, whereas an error committed by designers, such as not including an item on a checklist, is called a latent error. Remember that if something can go wrong, it will. This is Sod's law. In the remainder of this lesson, we will look at the automated cockpit, its role, and its advantages and disadvantages. The automated cockpit is also known as the glass cockpit. Because approximately 70% of all aircraft accidents are caused by human error, aviation companies have been anxious to eliminate, as far as possible, the human element in flying aircraft. Powerful computers, electronic flight instrument systems, EFIS, and satellites have made this possible. For example, computers have allowed information to be received from many sources, such as GPS satellites, ground radio aids, and the aircraft's internal navigation system. All the data is then integrated into a single comprehensive display. The computer can be programmed to show a great deal of information on one screen, or the amount of information shown can be reduced, so that the pilot can concentrate on a few items, such as in the approach to land phase. Indeed, every stage of a commercial flight, other than takeoff, has been automated. Standard instrument departures will be followed on departure. Waypoints will be checked. Flight plan changes of direction will be performed. Standard instrument arrivals will be navigated on arrival. And even the landing will be performed by automated systems. The aircraft will have auto-thrust to ensure the most efficient or economic use of its fuel. It will have an automated fuel management system to maintain correct weight distribution. It will have an autopilot to navigate the aircraft along its pre-programmed route. It will have automatic air conditioning, automatic braking, and the list continues. Most of the systems will have pilot input and may be overridden, but others, such as the stick shaker and some alarms, cannot be disengaged by the pilot. The layout of flight decks in different aircraft is fairly similar, and the information displays will usually be on two screens, as in this Cessna 400. The primary flight display, PFD, shows the performance information, such as attitude, direction, speed, and altitude. The other screen, the multifunction display, MFD, will show whatever information is selected. This could be a moving map, airport taxiways, approach plates, weather display, or engine monitoring information. The pilot and co-pilot will each have these displays, which are separately programmable and switchable. The main achievement of automation has been to reduce the human input into flying an aircraft. Computers can fly the aircraft more reliably than humans, especially over long journeys. Their decisions are quicker, and as long as an objective decision is required, their decisions are better. However, where decisions are subjective, such as the decision to abort a takeoff, humans still need to be in control. Another advantage of automation is the reduction in crew workload, especially during the long, boring cruise sector. It releases the crew from routine tasks and enables them to consider more pressing issues. However, there is also a downside to this, which we will look at shortly. Because the pilot can choose to have displayed only that information which is relevant at a given time, he can more readily concentrate on it, and his situational awareness will be greater. Crew coordination will be better, as flight crew can concentrate on fewer but more important matters, such as landing the aircraft. Other advantages of automation are: computers are reliable, they seldom break down, EFIS displays are clear and flexible, aircraft control is smoother and more accurate, cockpits are less cluttered, and more information can be displayed. Automated systems are also designed to be error tolerant. That is, if the pilot makes one error, it should not have a catastrophic effect. Such a system is called a protected system, whereas a system which permits the error to have serious consequences is called a vulnerable system.